Hello again from Data Science Conference in Belgrade. I'm Anna representing SmartCat, and here's Tobias with us today. It's his second time in Belgrade, and he just finished his lecture here on Data Science Conference. So Tobias, what are the impressions?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me. It's been a fantastic event, so many great people here. I mean, it's huge, so it's my second time in Belgrade. So I really love meeting the people, but also seeing the whole development and progress. So it's really, a big vibe here. I enjoy being here. Thanks for having me.
Amazing. How did you like your presentation? How did you like the audience? And were there any questions at the presentation?
I think it was good. Like, people were standing in the room, so that's always good. A good indication that a lot of people are joining and interested. So, and I do think that the whole topic of how to adopt AI, how to get started, how to make the right steps, really, and avoid the biggest pitfalls. So that's a topic that I also see that people find interesting. So it's good that the crowd here also enjoyed that. Of course, there were a lot of questions regarding how to do this in bigger organizations, because my whole philosophy about AI is to think big, but start in small steps, start in small increments, and also having this iterative mindset of saying, okay, we want to develop to a larger goal, but we need to take the sequence of iterative steps and also be able to correct our mistakes. And honestly, a lot of organizations are not ready for this. So, and bringing an organization to this path, this requires much, much more than just technical skills and everything that we hear on this conference. It's also about communication, about leadership, about adaptability, and so many topics playing into this. So yeah, there were a lot of questions on how to deal with that in a more mature or larger organization, which is not yet ready for this. So. And
what do you think is the foundation for AI, apart from, I suppose, data?
Yeah.
What would you say, and from your experience at RAPYD.AI, working with, I suppose, all kinds of companies from all kinds of industries?
Yeah, exactly. I work with small companies, but also with large companies from different countries. So, and I think there's one blueprint which really works. Well, let's start with the anti-pattern before. The anti-pattern is that companies find AI use cases by chance. So they just stumble into a use case because they heard something in a conference, or maybe from a competitor or so doing, or seeing, okay, some people are doing some things with chatbots. And I think this is okay to get you aware about the topic, but at least after this step, you need to have a rough vision of what to do. I wouldn't call it a plan, because a plan is already very detailed of what you do, but you should have a rough idea of what your business is actually doing and what your main business problems are, and how general AI capabilities can help you solve that. Because the worst case scenario is that you're in a business that is developing something without AI and is actually competing to AI progress. Because I think there will be huge progress in AI in the next couple of years. And if you're in a situation where you don't benefit from this progress, but you fight against this progress, I think you're in a really tough spot. So you need to have a good vision of how these increasingly capable AI capabilities can support your business and the business processes and problems that you have, and identify good potential use cases for that, and also have a good backlog of use cases to do, because a lot of those use cases won't work directly or from the beginning.
And from your consulting experience, and also I've seen you have AI design sprints and implementation of use cases, etc. What has been maybe the most interesting industry you work for?
So the AI design sprint in particular is a tool that helps companies within 2 days to identify AI opportunities for their business. Honestly, I really like the finance sector, because when you break down the finance sector, it really comes down to information processing. So, I mean, I don't want to offend anyone or so, but in finance, you don't really produce things physically. You don't have any warehouse to operate or people to move from A to B, but it's about financial transactions. And these financial transactions are very much information driven. And this was potentially, or historically, an area where we humans were pretty good at. So computers were pretty bad at processing large amounts of information. So let's imagine you're an investor and you get a proposal for a new investment opportunity, and it's 200 pages long and lots of KPIs and details. It takes a lot of experience to work through these items. But now if you have an AI, which is literally as smart as one of the smartest investors, and being able to process that information in a very short time, that of course gives you an increased leverage in what you can do, and also the amount of information you can process, which and I think this is so special about finance, it directly affects the bottom line of your business. Because in lots of other industries, information is more of a proxy to make decisions that have like somewhere an output to your bottom line business, for example, like triggering a sale or building a better product or so. But in finance, the relationship is very direct. So I think, finance is a great industry for lots of AI use cases.
And what are some of the use cases apart from, I suppose, generative AI now as a tool that helps maybe summarizing documents, extracting key points? What are the use cases? Is it user segmentation? Is it personalization?
Yeah, one big topic is certainly the internal ChatGPT, like something that chat with your internal document and internal knowledge base. And honestly, the concept of internal knowledge bases has been there for quite a while. So lots of companies have tried to build an internal Wikipedia or knowledge base, make the whole knowledge of the company accessible. And generative AI has made the new promise of making that much easier and like simpler. And I think this will remain to be a very strong use case because this kind of internal ChatGPT is becoming more and more commoditized. For example, Microsoft is building on that. If you're on the Microsoft stack, definitely watch out for Copilot and Copilot Studio because it gives you a lot of these capabilities out of the box. Whether it's enough or not for your business, you have to see that. But it's definitely, the entry barrier is much lower. Apart from generative AI, what I see is time series forecasting is an evergreen. Like you have time series forecasting in so many different scenarios, from planning to financial forecasting, sales forecasting, and this is where more classical AI algorithms like supervised machine learning, different algorithms for time series forecasting can work out well. So this is also.
And do you do some human in the loop, or how you manage retraining your models, and when you maybe have not that good enough results, how your customers handle that, or you handle that, or?
So for generative AI, at least in my opinion, you need to have that human in the loop. For the other non-generative AI use cases, I think you need to aim for a scenario where you need to beat a baseline. And the baseline can involve a human in the loop, or the baseline can be a non-AI or non-ML approach. For example, time series forecasting, let's say you could build a simple ARIMA model in order to predict the sales, or you could be as simple as taking the average of the last couple of things. And the question is, how good are you with your AI to beat that baseline? And I don't think that you need a human in the loop all the time. Of course, you need topics like MLOps to be aware of, like, where's the model drift, where's the model quality deteriorating. But even this area, there are like more and more solutions coming to that, both external vendors, but also software solutions that are helping IT or data science teams in this case to maintain these models. I think in that area, the whole industry has been more mature. So there was a lot of effort in the last couple of years to make the whole process of developing AI models and putting them into production, monitoring them more easily, especially if you're in one of these large cloud platforms.
Okay, and regarding the design sprint, you said you do it in 2 days, right?
Yeah, like there are different entry points. There are 3 entry points for the AI design sprint. The first entry point is very high level. You approach that from an organizational level, typically with the CEO or leadership of the company, where you look at the org chart and identify opportunities for the company. The second entry point is to look at a specific business unit and look at the processes inside this business unit, like sales or marketing organization, for example. And the third entry point is to look at it from a product angle and say, okay, we have a certain product which we want to improve, like our online shop. And depending on from which of these angles you enter the sprint, you might take between 1.5 up to 2 days of figuring out, we call that a framing session at the beginning, to figure out what are the high-level opportunities, and then taking the other 1.5 days to identify a good, we call that an AI design, AI solution concept, where we identify one of these use cases and really map it out, how it works. And again, this could be a business process, this could be a user story, or this could be more an organizational element if you take a look at the whole organization. But yeah, overall it takes about 2 days, but it can also be stretched across like a couple of half days if done in a remote setting. Because doing full-time or full-day remote workshops, it's not always the best idea.
Yeah. It can be really challenging.
It can be really challenging, yeah. And it's also, like, I think the whole idea behind not only the AI design sprint, but also other methods is to bring different people with different backgrounds at one table and really in a very intense and focused format develop these ideas and solutions. And this is kind of accelerating progress with otherwise is happening in an organization anyway, but in a very like decentralized and disorganized way. And I think by just combining that, bringing people together and looking really focusedly on that, this is a good approach to handle these new topics, especially where there's a lot of uncertainty involved of what might be the outcome.
And my follow-up question actually was, which roles from your team are on those calls and workshops, and how do you organize that internally? So the facilitator is, of course, coming from us. So there are typically 2 facilitators in the AI design sprint. And depending on how the client team is organized, so we aim for group sizes between like 6 to 8 people. If there's more, we try to split it up into multiple design sprints. There should be someone in the design sprint who has some technical expertise with AI, because at some point you will talk about feasibility and you will talk about, okay, can we use an existing model for that? Do we need to train a model? Things like that. And I think, at this stage, makes sense for
to have external. You have
certainly.
just an external point of view in that. So we typically there should be at least one facilitator and then also one person who is having this technical background. In ideal cases, you have both the facilitator and the technical person in one persona. So that would be the ideal scenario. So but typically it's like 2 people from us joining these AI design sprints.
And what was the industry, except finance maybe, that was interesting to you? Yeah,
so I'm I have a background in marketing myself. So obviously I work a lot with companies in the marketing industry, also in the events industry. So exhibitions, I've worked in the exhibitions industry for quite a long time. So this is obviously where customers are coming from. But I mean, the industries are really diverse. My last customer was from the IT industry, so we also had customers from the IT consulting industry. So I think this is kind of the beauty of AI, but sometimes also makes the whole topic a bit difficult. It's such a horizontal topic, and I really haven't found a single industry where I would say, okay, you don't need to care about AI. The only industry maybe which could be this is an industry which is so highly regulated, they are just not allowed to do anything. But I think every organization has people. Every organization with people is thinking about productivity. So if you're thinking about productivity, there you have your first generative AI use case. So it can be as simple as that. But of course, I typically also look more into different business functions like marketing and sales within organizations, also customer support. These are very good areas for AI, not only generative AI, but with AI in general too, because they have a direct leverage and impact on the business outcome.
Thank you. I think this was a really nice way to conclude your sentence. I really liked, and it's wherever you have people, you have productivity, and you have to work on it, obviously. So it's a space for AI. Definitely. Thank you, Tobias, for interesting talk.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.